Our views do not necessarily dictate the views of the many. They are just our personal views. Please don't hate us for them. We are individuals, which is a wonderful thing that we have in this country. So, don't be dicks.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to PyroFalkon's Let's Play Extravaganza. This is Streaming Sundays number 25. It is October 19th, 2014. I am PyroFalkon. Thank you for joining me. Today's stream is Democracy 3. You can pick this up from Steam for, I think, like 15 bucks? 20? I don't know. It's pretty cheap. Pick it up. It's really cool. It's a political simulator. And today's game we are playing with audience participation. I will be joining in. So the idea of Democracy 3 is to run a country, and this game is very confusing to look at, so I will try to walk you through it in case you've never seen it before. The interface looks insane, but hopefully will help you get through it, and everything will be easy to determine. So, the first thing we have to do is choose our country. By the way, this game does have music, but due to the amount of editing I'm going to have to do to this episode, I'm playing without music. Trust me, the game is not usually this silent. We have 6 countries. We can take the UK, France, Germany, the US, Canada, or Australia. Each one has its own challenges to deal with, especially because of its ethnicities or religions or both. The amount of people, how good their healthcare systems are, and what you're dealing with when you start off the country. Obviously, starting off in the US is going to be a little different than starting off in Australia or France. So I asked before the start of the stream what country everybody wanted to play. I, of course, prefer the U.S. since I am from there. Michael wants Germany, and Kalo wants the U.K. since he is from the U.K. So with a 3-way split, I'm just going to freaking roll for it. I'm holding in my hand a 6-sided die. You're going to have to just take my word for it. 1 is 1, 2 is 2, and so forth, and we are rolling. And I just dropped the die on the floor, because of course I did. Take 2 on the die roll. Number 1, that would be the UK. We are playing as the UK. Now, if we fail quick and we die or get assassinated or whatever, well, then we'll play a different one and keep this party going. All right, so let's see. What would be the opposite of the Blazing Hawks? The Icy Worms? That works. So yeah, the party names in the game are preset, but you can change them and you can type your own. They're generally designed after actual parties, of course. Although I don't say... Well, anyway. Oh, there it is. The Republicans and the Democrats. There's the American ones. Anyway, whatever. So this is also a screen where you can set up your game. You have your term length and your term limit. In the US, it's different than the UK. Here, we don't have a limit. We also don't have compulsory voting, earthquakes, or hurricanes, but we do have a monarchy. I'm not sure what the monarchy change or checkbox affects, unless maybe the monarchy can override certain things that we can do. I don't know. I've never played as the UK, but we're going to try this anyway. We're going to have 100% difficulty. 40% social apathy. I'm not going to change anything. The political apathy is different depending on the country you play as well. And the innate socialism and innate liberalism, I haven't seen that before. I haven't played the game in about 6 months, and they've had several patches, so I'm not sure quite what those sliders do. So I'm just going to leave everything by default. And Kayla wants us to have the asshat party somewhere, so we'll make those the opposition because screw the asshats. All right, but we are the Blazing Hawks because Zogawog's Trollbane named the fan base the Blazing Hawks, so that's what we are. I love that little tooltip. Fix this country's problems. All right, we're going to go fix the UK's problems. There is some randomization of the game, but there is some non-randomization, and we will try to do what we can do. So as we see from the starting screen, our GDP is garbage, our unemployment is high, everything else is kind of in the middle. That's not a great start to the UK. Not that any of the countries are really in a great position, but the lives of all 63 million people are in our hands. So that's going to be fun. All right, so when most people see Democracy 3 for the first time, they see this screen and they bug out, and it's no wonder. This is one of the most confusing interfaces I've ever seen in my freaking life. Just because of the way it's laid out, it's really kind of shitty. But once you understand what you're looking at here, it's really not so bad. So the first thing to notice is every circle is a thing. It's an aspect of your country. The red circles are crises, and you can mouse over anything to see. So the red thing here is alcohol abuse. That means here in the UK, or in our UK, there is some serious alcohol abuse, and mousing over it lets you see why. There's apparently a lot of alcohol consumption, which is why there are a lot of those green arrows and they're moving quickly. There's poverty. There's a lot of poverty, but it's apparently not affecting alcohol abuse as highly because it's a slow-moving arrow. High unemployment's leading to alcohol abuse as well. And the alcohol and it's kind of hard to see over the pop-ups. Whoops. The pop-ups. But the police force is low and community policing is low, which is contributing to alcohol abuse. And because of alcohol abuse, we have higher crime and lower health. So that is how the game works. Simply mousing over any of these icons will show you how they all interrelate to each other. So we can mouse over, for example, this one. This is homelessness, which is because of high unemployment. It's because of property taxes. It's leading to crime, leading to middle-income families, the poor, and liberals kind of hating us, and so forth. I'm not going to go through each one of these unless one of the other players requests it. And the center area here with all the bars, that is how much we are popular as the leader. Because the entire point of the game is to be reelected, we want those bars to be as green as possible. The retired folks, environmentalists, conservatives, state employees, and farmers love us. Most people are kind of and capitalists and middle-income families hate us. But we can mouse over all of these two and see why. So if I mouse over retired, we can see that the retired love us because of our private pensions, our state pensions, state healthcare service, and private healthcare, although they are unhappy about the violent crime inheritance tax and property tax. All the blue circles here are informational, so you can mouse over, say, this one, and it's the oil price. We can't change the oil price, but it does affect our GDP, our demand, our supply, and how much motorists like us. Any of these blues will do. During the stream, if any players request, I will mouse over those so you guys can see. But I will probably cut it out of the YouTube cut because a lot of times there's a lot of information that goes into making even the smallest decision. And the white circles are the things we can actually affect. For example, here's the percentage one, just randomly. That is the income tax percentage. If we click the income tax percentage, we can then change it with this slider. Income tax is 41%. There are no graduated taxes in this game. This is simply the average. So on average, everyone is paying 41%. And you can raise or lower it as you wish. You can go all the way from 1% to 90%. And you can see the changes down here, what it would be. Changing any policy requires political capital, shown by this fist. So raising tax would require 30 political capital, which we don't have. Lowering tax will cost us only 7 political capital, and canceling tax altogether, and yes, we could cancel all income tax if we wanted to, would require 13 political capital. We generate political capital every turn by our cabinet here. We can fire cabinets, shuffle them, or hire ministers that we may not have, although that pisses off the country and shows a lot of destabilization in the government, and it's not something we want to do. Although if someone calls for us to completely sabotage ourselves, we can do that too. And the final aspect across all this information is, if I find it correctly, again, it has been a while since I played. These are all generally just charts and graphs, but there is one thing here that is very important, and I'm trying to remember where the bloody hell it is. There it is. It's the light bulb. So in the light bulb, we can enact new policies that are not oh, hello, Jordan Red. Thank you for joining me. I'm kind of surprised you made it from Australia. It's pretty Our time zones are very different. Okay, so in this screen, we can add policies that have not been implemented yet. For example, in the UK, they apparently do not have, say, a junk food tax, which probably the US should have, but doesn't. Anyway, so the junk food tax does not exist, but we can implement it. If we wish to implement it, which apparently will have a 0% popularity with the voters, we can then say what kind of what we want to do here. We can make it all the way up to 90% or as little as 1%. It'll add money to our coffers, increase the health of everybody, but piss off the youth and piss off poor earnings. So it's, we have to think ahead to everything we want to do. All right, so I'm going to take the first turn here now that you guys know the rules of the game. And Michael and Kalo have played it before, or at least have seen it before, which is fine. It's this way you guys can see how the game works before anyone who has not played it before, such as my mom, would like to do it. And Jordan, I would also, if you wish to play with us, let me know in the comments. Kalo is keeping the rotation, and we will add you to the end of the list, and you can play along as well. All right, so when I play the game, I tend to try to fix problems first. So we have 6 serious problems here. This one, what is this one? This is, technology backwater. I've never thought of the UK as being a technology backwater. But because the technology is apparently backwater, that means that technology is bad, the GDP is bad, science funding is low, creationism versus evolution is high. I think that implies that the religious are a little less... Yeah, both systems taught. Okay, that's probably why. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, by mousing over this again, the one thing we can change is the science funding. Science funding is apparently really low. We are still running at a deficit, but I don't care. I'm going to put a little bit of money into science funding. So we take this slider bar. Right now, we are apparently losing, we're costing 6.48 billion pounds per quarter. We're going to increase that a bit. I'm going to make it 10 even. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to make it a little higher. Electron microscopes. We'll double it. That's what I'll do. I'll double it. So 6.5 doubled is 13. So we'll do 13. Slider. I wish you could type the number sometimes instead of... There. 13.05. This costs 6 political capital. We have 20 per turn, so I will apply that change. We are good. All right, let's see. So now we won't see the result of that for a little while, but we will. Okay, and isn't crime a problem? Yeah, organized crime is a problem because the intelligence service sucks. Wow, we need to get James Bond going on. But I'm going to instead put on, let's see, estimated popular is 0% for prisoner tagging? Really? That's kind of a surprise. I do want to get reelected, and I do want to, clean fuel subsidy. A subsidy for cleaner fuels, such as ultra-low sulfur. It would be popular. Doesn't look like it would cost that much. People will like it. Let's do that. We'll implement clean fuel subsidy. So this is going to cost us, I don't know, I didn't see how much this is going to cost us, but we will, let's see, 1.06 billion a quarter. That's really not that much, given how much we're making as a country. So I'm going to implement that at maximum. And that is the end of our political capital. There is, it does list the cost of how much it, yeah, I was going to say it lists the cost. I didn't see it. I must have just overlooked it. Whatever. All right, so if you are unfamiliar with the game, you can tell me sort of what you want to do, and I will try to make it happen if you don't know the exact thing you want to do. But if there is an exact thing you want to do, we will do it. So this is our turn. This ends our first quarter. And, okay, here's a summary of the current nation. Debt protection law. Now, this is a chance card, essentially. We haven't really changed much so far, but it takes a while before it can work. So we are going to go to the debt protection law, and because this is Kalo's turn, he will choose this. So, Kalo, I don't know if you can read this, but I will read it out loud so you can choose what you would like to do. Debt collection agencies have been in the news because of the aggressive methods they are using to extract payment from people who owe large sums of money. These debt collection agencies provide credit to people whom larger, more respectable companies will not lend money. A law is proposed to limit the ways in which such agencies can operate. So, Kalo, do you wish for limited debt protection or limited agency for these debt collection agencies, or do you allow the agencies to operate freely and we let them do whatever they want? Kalo says, limit the agency activity. Done and done. So again, we don't know exactly what that's going to do. I mean, when you play the game enough, you do, but it takes a while before it. I know something about aircraft carriers for real. John Kerry. God, our politicians are morons. Anyway, so let's say, okay, the people are indifferent to our government. We estimate getting 46% of the vote in an election. That's not bad, really, to start off. It's much tougher in the U.S. Okay, Kalo, you have 27 political capital. If you have a specific command, please let me know in the comments. And if not, then just let me know sort of what you want to do, and I will try to make it happen. Kalo wants us to introduce the death penalty. I'm not sure where that is. There it is. Okay. We cannot do it. We have insufficient capital. Oh, there it is. We need 50 capital, and we do not have 50 capital. So, that is like the saddest looking hanged man ever icon. Wow. Anyway, I'll keep that in mind for next time, Kalo. For very expensive policies like this, you can actually roll over your political capital from the previous turn. So if Kalo really wants to introduce the death penalty, I will save up the capital from my next turn, and I will introduce the death penalty. Kalo also wants maximum punishment. I assume he just means in general, but... and he screams feck in the comments. All right, let's see. Yeah, I don't care how popular it may... Well, I mean, you know, I'm aiming for popularity, but you guys can pick whatever you wish. There are lots of different things we can do here, which is very cool. I tend to lean liberal in real life, so when I've played this, and I tend to play the U.S., I just do very socialist things, and it pisses off the entire nation, which I find hilarious. All right, Kalo is thinking for his turn. Kalo has asked to get rid of religion in schools, so evolution only, creationism only. We don't have the political capital for that either. We need 30 political capital, and you only have 27. I know it's very hard to get things done. And political costs vary depending on the amount of, or the kind of people you have. So if you're full of conservatives, then it's easier to get religious things passed. If you have a lot of liberals, it's easier to get secular things passed. Kind of like, you know, that kind of thing. And I believe the costs are dynamic. So just because, for example, for Kalo, just because it costs 30 political capital to increase the evolution system, that doesn't necessarily mean it will always cost 30. I think if we increase our popularity with secularists, atheists, then it will actually work better. Kalo is getting frustrated in the comments, and his mom says, "Kalo, you are expensive to please." Yes, the Parliament does not entirely want Kalo to do what he is doing. But like I said, what I will do on my next turn is I will actually pass my next turn, and then Kalo will have some more political capital to work with. So, Kalo, give us another one. What would you like to do to the UK that we can actually afford? Kalo wants us to introduce a gambling tax. Okay, how high or low would you like to introduce that? When you first implement a tax, or any policy for that matter, such as... Wait, where is it? Oh, gambling. Okay. Oh, like right now it's completely illegal in the first place, so we would have to implement gambling. And that would take all of your political capital to do. But once we first do it, we can suggest how legal, how illegal, that kind of thing. The slider is essentially free when you introduce a new law. And I'm going to hold off just to make sure that Kalo does indeed want to legalize gambling, and then we can worry about the slider. Oh, Kalo has changed his mind and now wants to legalize prostitution. All right, that's something I can get behind. Or on top of. Or in front of. Anyway, let's see, where is it? This game hates me, he says. Is it Law and Order? Oh, there it is. Legalize prostitution. Okay. Okay, so we will legalize prostitution per Kalo's request. And here is the slider I was talking about. So we can go everywhere from very little prostitution. None is sort of not really accurate. Like, basically none would just mean that we sort of tolerate it, but we don't deal with it. But we can do also maximum, which probably means we have streetwalkers on every corner flashing their goods, and we don't care. So, Aqua Lightning is in the chat, and Jordan Red kind of fell out for a second. That's okay, we have disconnects all the time. Aqua Lightning, also known as Chris, if you wish to play Democracy 3 by committee, let us know and we'll add you to the end of the rotation. So Kalo says medium. That works. So we will do a medium legalizing of prostitution. Conservatives are pissed. The GDP goes up. Liberals are a little happier. Parents religious, and organized crime are all pissy. Which is good for organized crime going down, but it's kind of, this is going to be costly. But 48% of the people are happy with this, so done and done. Kalo has 2 political capital left, which is not that much. If you need to have some moderation. If you wish to end your turn, let me know, and I will roll those 2 political capital over to Michael. If you have, and Kalo does agree. Okay, done and done. So that is turn 2. That is the second quarter. We've been in office 6 months. We have not been shot yet. Michael is up. Our 6 main bars have not moved that much. And we have an urgent policy question. So this one is for you, Michael. Our ambassador to the UN retires this year, and we need to name a successor as soon as possible. Much will be made of whether we appoint a hardliner who sticks up for the country or someone more able to compromise. Michael, you can appoint Regina Phillips, who is a well-known patriot who will fight tooth and claw to get our interests represented in the UN. She is seen as a popular choice among patriotic and more conservative citizens. She is historically against foreign aid and a supporter of import tariffs. She is not popular internationally. Conversely, you can appoint Steve Harris, who is a popular figure on the international stage with a reputation for solving difficult problems through compromise and understanding. A true internationalist, he is popular with the liberals and socialists in our society as well as foreign leaders. So, Michael, the choice is yours. You can select the patriot Regina Phillips or the international superstar, I guess, Steve Harris. Michael chooses Steve Harris. Done and done. All right, Michael, your turn proper has started. You have 28 political capital to work with. Please tell me what you would like the direction the UK to take. Michael has chosen to implement a space program. This will cost practically all your capital, so I will implement this for you. And we have a... Kalo screams space, and so does Michael. All right, so we can have any sort of cost between 4.9 billion and 19.3 billion, and the more you spend, the better it is, and the more pronounced all of the changes will be. This program makes patriots happy, increases the membership to the patriot lobby, I guess you could say. It will actually decrease unemployment. That's one thing with this bar that I sort of didn't like it throws me off, because usually you think red is bad, but in this case red is good, because this means unemployment goes down, which is good. Number of state employees goes up, technology goes up, the religious will back down a bit, and the technology backwater will be canceled, which is good. Michael demands the bar to go all the way up, and Kalo is bemoaning his lack of money. Well, that's why we just, legalized prostitution. We're going to tax the prostitutes and then send them up into space. So, So yes, you can see all these pronounced changes, and we are helping destroy this technology backwater bullshit, which is awesome. So we have applied it. All right, so we now have a space program in the UK. Michael, you have 4 more political capital. That's not really much to go on, but if there's something you want me to take a look at, let me know in the comments, and we will make that happen. Michael has chosen to pass the rest of his turn, so... Oh, yeah, I said the 4 will roll over, but that's not true. It's actually half, so 2 political capital will roll over to the next turn. And that is what we are doing. Aqua Lightning says space prostitutes. That's exactly what I was thinking when I asked myself what democracy the game was all about. That's right. Okay, Mom, you are up. Here's the quarterly report. Not a whole lot has changed again. But, you know, again, it's early in the game. We've only been on the job 9 months. We have a stress epidemic. Doctors have warned that our businesses are working people too hard, which is leading to dangerously high levels of stress for people with full-time jobs. There are calls for limits on the hours that people work to be better enforced by central government. So this is just a warning. This is a new crisis that we're having. We have a stress epidemic. It is up to you guys if you even want to address it. We can say, fuck it, let everyone get stressed out because at least we have space prostitutes. Or you can try to implement those limits. Mom, you have the floor, so it's up to you. The polls say that we have 47%, so we've dipped 1%, but that's not all that bad. And we have a budget deficit of 30 billion pounds. And the Human Rights Society says it's actively encouraging its members to oppose the central government. Oh, well, whatever. Anyway... So, Mom, you are up. Please select an action. You have 30 political capital to work with, if there is something you wish to do. And Mom chooses labor laws. Okay. So, on the labor laws, assuming you want to go more pro-union, you'll have to give me a cost anywhere between 642 million or 791 million, or you can give me like a percentage where you want me to move the bar. As long as we move it to the right, we make the country more pro-union, which will lower the stress of all of the workers. It looks like it's going to go up regardless, unless you pour in, like, right there is the neutral point. So that would be adding about 40 million to the budget. Or you can increase even more, and you can see the working week bar here is going down due to the lower number of hours. Okay, Mom says go about 75% on the labor laws, so that would be about here. And that significantly, well, it costs less than 100 million a quarter, which isn't bad. Trade union is happy, socialists are happy, working week goes down. Capitalists are a little unhappy. Productivity goes down a bit. I don't think that's going to matter, though, if everyone's a little less stressed. Trade union membership goes up, socialism membership goes up, and wages go up, which I think will make the workers extremely happy. Anyway, so yes, Mom, let me know if there is anything further you wish to do or to pass. You know what? I think I'm just, for simplicity, I'm going to pass that rule. If we have less than 5 political capital, I'm just going to pass the turn, because there's... Oh, wait, can we play with taxing fast food? We can, except we can't afford it. Where is it? It wasn't public services, was it? I know we can. Maybe we can't. We can give health food subsidies. You still have the, I know I've seen the junk food tax, though. But anyway, you do have enough political capital that you can make health food subsidies if you wish to do that. And while you answer me, I'm going to take a look and see if I can find the junk food tax. I'm pretty sure it exists somewhere. I swear I've seen it. There's no search in the game, so that's what I was saying before, that if there's a thing you were looking for, it can be really hard to find it. I don't see it. Maybe it's just tied in with health food subsidies. Main screen burger icon at the bottom. Main screen burger icon at the bottom. I do not see a burger icon. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. That is junk food tax. Thank you. Thank you, Aqua. Okay, Mom. There is a junk food tax. It is already implemented. We cannot raise it because that would cost 4 political capital and you only have 3 remaining. We can lower the junk food tax, but I don't think that's what you're wanting to do. Thank you, Aqua Lightning. I appreciate the assist. Mom wants us to lower the junk food tax to 25%. All right. Done. That decreases health, makes the youth happier, increases poor earnings, and slightly decreases poverty. Done. All right, so you really can't do much with 2 political capital. I am going to go ahead and make the rule just to speed the game up a little bit that if you have less than 5 capital, I'm going to just pass the turn just to speed things up a little bit. Okay, so that would be Mom. So Jordan, if you are still in here, you are up. I've sort of lost track about who's where. The GDP has fallen a little bit. Let's see. But we are more popular. We have 51% of the vote in the next election, hopefully. And we still have a budget deficit of 27 billion, but it's less the deficit is less than it was. So we're doing all right. Okay, Jordan, you have an urgent policy proposal. A number of large agricultural companies are interested in growing genetically modified food on our soil. Some food can be genetically manipulated to allow for longer shelf life and both disease and herbicide resistance. Opponents are concerned how the potential risks associated with altering the food chain. Farmers are divided on the issue. So, Jordan, would you like to allow genetically modified crops, or do you ban the sale of genetically modified crops? Allowing them, reduces the cost for sellers, which probably reduces the cost for buyers as well. Also reduces the need for pesticides, meaning there will be healthier food. However, banning the sale of them helps for consumers for long-term effects of health, and it apparently might increase the environment as well. So, Jordan, please select whether to allow the crops or to ban the sale. Mom says Hostess Twinkies. Gotta love them. Must be genetically modified. And she just shouted burgers for everyone at the end of her last turn. I think screaming burgers for everyone, that could just be your platform. Especially if you're in the US and you run in the deep south, you can just scream burgers for everyone or steaks for everyone, and I think you'll get elected, regardless of everything else. Jordan has selected to ban the sale of genetically modified food. Done. The sale is banned. Okay, Jordan, you have 28 political capital to work with. Please give me your actions. You can, again, select a specific action or just tell me sort of what you want to do, and I'll try to make it work. Jordan wants to introduce food stamps. So we go to welfare and food stamps. This will only cost 4 political capital, and it will make people extremely happy. So I am going to implement it. So, Jordan, you can give me either the amount you want to spend, or you can give me an estimate where you want the bar. We can go anywhere from very low. It says none, but we are giving a little bit, which would cost 314 million a quarter, all the way to maximum, which would cost 5 billion a quarter. The more we put in, the better the health, the better the poor earnings, the more the poor will like us, the less poverty, the more socialist. Basically, everybody likes us with food stamps except the hit to our income. That would be the only downside to doing this. Jordan wants us to have maximum food stamps. Done and done. You can see the changes here. The poor are going to freaking love us. Their opinion of us just jumped 15.99%. Apply changes. Done. All right, Jordan, you have 24 political capital remaining. Please select your next action. Jordan wants us to take a look at the asthma problem. So this is a crisis, the asthma epidemic. Now, the asthma epidemic, being a crisis, cannot be directly changed. However, we can see what's leading to it by clicking on it. The causes are because the environment sucks ass, apparently, and car usage is high. Productivity is down, and parents are pissy. Now, while Jordan takes a look at this, basically, you can see the blue value here and the start and stop triggers. What that means is if we can get the environment to get if we can get the environment higher and get this blue bar up here, I think that means it'll stop, is the way it works. I can't remember. Anyway, whatever. The point is the environment needs to be improved to cancel the asthma epidemic, or car usage has to go down. And the nice thing about Democracy 3 is everything is hyperlinked. So obviously it's probably going to be easier to fix the environment because the environment is so horrible. Like, it'll be easier to do a thing to improve it. So if we click the environment, we can now see how the environment's doing. Now, the environment's going up. We're doing okay, but there are still causes we can do here to fix it. We can do pollution controls, the clean fuel subsidy, clean energy subsidies, increase recycling, try to lower car usage, lower air travel, or increase the GDP. That would help as well. So any of these can help, and then the effects will be further done. And even if we fix it, even if Jordan picks a policy that could help improve the environment, it won't fully implement for a little while. In fact, that's what these numbers in parentheses are for. Basically, it means that for whatever changes of pollution controls we did, it's going to take 12 more turns before it works. And that's turns. And a turn is 3 months. So it's going to take 3 years before the changes of pollution controls fully activate. So this game is a very long-term game. Jordan wants us to take a look at recycling, and that is a policy. Right now we have bottle banks, which is costing us £604 million per quarter. They can be raised or lowered. Either way, it costs 4 political capital, or we can cancel recycling entirely, although I'm pretty sure Jordan is not wanting to do that. So Jordan, here is our recycling policy. Please select what you wish to do. Do you wish to decrease it, increase it, cancel it entirely, leave it alone? The choice is yours. Jordan wants us to increase the recycling to about 50%, which is about here. So that's recycling centers. She's doubling our cost, but it's increasing the environment, helping environmentalists, and increasing membership for environmentalists. And again, you have percentages here, or parentheses numbers here. So basically, this means environmentalists will like us immediately. The environment improves immediately, but we won't see the full effect of the environmentalist membership for 3 total years, which is fine. Hell, we may not even be in office by that point. Done. Jordan, you still have 20 political capital. You are making a lot out of your turn. Select another one, and we'll continue your issue. Oh, Jordan has already decided to tax mansions. Yes, that is a new tax we can implement, but we do not have the political capital for it. You lack 6 political capital to do it. All right, so Jordan does want to implement a recreational drugs tax. So we can go anywhere from none to maximum. This will not cost us anything. But let's see, increasing it. It doesn't show any income either. I wonder if that's because it'll take a while to implement before we know exactly how many drugs are being consumed. But anyway. So Jordan, where would you like the bar? Anywhere in there? And obviously the higher it goes, the less the youth like us, the less the poor likes us, the higher poverty happens, and the higher legal drug consumption goes. down? Oh, because more people are smoking weed. Okay, I get it. Jordan suggests 40%. This is about 50, so 40 would be about 30, 20, yeah, 40 would be about here. Done. All right, you have 12 political capital remaining. Please select another action. You don't have much political capital left to do much for welfare unless you want to do one of these other welfares, the disability benefit, welfare fraud department, winter fuel subsidy, or rent controls. And Jordan does want us to do the winter fuel subsidy. So there's the bar. Please select how much we are subsidizing when... Oh, she is canceling that. I think it's too late, though. I think I've already activated this. Yeah, it's already been activated. Sorry, I didn't catch your you changing your mind quick enough. And I think I accidentally just put the winter fuel subsidy to be exactly at 50%. I'm trying to see where it is on the chart here. That's one thing I don't like. Like, if you select to implement... Yeah, if you select to implement a policy, you can't back out. You can't change your mind. You're committed. Shoot, where is it? Oh, maybe it won't appear until the next turn. Oh, well. Sorry about that, Jordan. All right, so since you have less than 5 political capital, I'm going to pass the turn. So now, Aqua Lightning, you are up, and we can see what's gone down. Okay, so since Jordan's turn, health has gone up significantly. We've got a green bar. Poverty's gone down, even better. Unless that... Yeah, I think that's... Yeah, poverty going down is good. Which is weird for the way this game... I don't know. It's just... Ugh, they make the bars a little confusing. GDP has gone down, though. And our credit rating has downgraded. But it is what it is. But we are very popular. 61% of the people are for us. All right. So, wow, we have a lot of green now. Socialists... The poor, environmentalists, retired. Man, Jordan, you are kicking ass as a leader. Aqua Lightning, you are up. What are our options for increasing our income? Just taxes, I take it? We can do taxes primarily, although that'll make us unpopular. We can also try reversing some of the policies that cost us money. Or we can try... Let's see. Like, for example... Yes, thank you, achievements. Like, for example, we can do an import tariff, which will increase the tax we put on the international community for importing goods. That'll give us an income, but it'll also piss off foreign countries, and it will slightly increase the cost of services for consumers because they don't get cheap imports. Oh, thank you, Ayla. Ayla explains that on that first screen, the stuff at the top is good if it goes up, and the stuff at the bottom is good if it goes down. That's good to know. All right, so, yeah, so we can do, let's see, foreign investor tax breaks. No, that would just hurt our money. Jordan says, it's because I'm an Aussie. I know bad leadership. Yeah, I'm an American, and I know that, too. Straw Hat Monty 97 has been added to the chat. Hello, Straw Hat Monty 97. We are playing as the UK, and we are playing by committee, going in turns. If you wish to play as well, just let us know, and we'll add you to the end of the rotation. So Aqua Lightning, we can, yeah, we can add we can add a tax. We can take away a policy that is costing us money. For example, not to give you any ideas. When Michael activated his turn, the first thing he did was introduce a space program. If you want to cancel the space program, that will add more money to our coffers at the cost of losing technology and pissing off our patriots. So everything has a balance, of course. Or for the GDP, just mousing over it, you can see how insane that is right now. So we are in a uncompetitive economy due to all of these problems. Some things we can't deal with, like oil demand and oil price. We can't do anything about that. But we are gaining money and GDP because of legalizing prostitution. We're spending money on private pensions, spending money on health care. So we can, there are many ways we can adjust the income and expenditure. Can I actually click this? Oh, cool, I can. Okay, so there you go. So our income is primarily from income tax. We also have some from government borrowing. And here are the other taxes. Mom lowered the junk food tax a bit ago, so we're taking a slight hit on that, but no big deal. And here's our expenditure. It's mostly coming from state pensions and the state health care service. We're also spending a lot of money on military, state housing, and state schools. The space program is the 6th highest expenditure right now, and you can see the rest of the numbers there. Aqua Lightning says, let's up space funding. I believe I can't. I think the space funding is at maximum right now. I will double check that. There it is. And yeah, it's at maximum. We will not be able to raise it any higher. And Straw Hat Monty 97 says hi, and previously he or she was not able to comment, so this is an unbelievable luxury. I'm glad you were able to join us, Straw Hat Monty. I'm going to call you Monty for short. So, and Aqua says, I know it's the opposite of what I just asked, but I want to blow more money on science. Okay, so even though we can't increase money on on space, we can increase money on the science funding, which is here. Right now, I increased our science funding a bit ago on my turn. You can increase it further if you wish. It's what you would like to do. And my throat is getting dry because I've been doing nothing but talk. I'm used to doing this with somebody. I should have thought about it. I would have had Kalo actually co-host because then I could rest my throat. I think this is the first solo stream I've done, in fact. Yeah, it is, because usually I have the Akamura. Ugh. Anyway. So yeah, Aqua, let us know what you would like to do. Aqua Lightning has said that he wishes to maximize science funding. Done and done. And that takes, I think it said 6 political capital. You have 23 remaining. Also, don't forget about how much people like us, or don't, I don't care, since it's your Let's Play too. But you can see that capitalists are very pissy at us, although we have a lot of green bars. We had a lot more green bars than we had when we started. I think the only green bar we had when we started was retired and I think maybe environmentalist, and that was it. So we are doing very well. Our popularity is soaring, and our country is still stable. Shockingly, I did not ever strike that balance when I played by myself. Aqua Lightning says, let's do buses and that telecommunications if we can do both. I believe we can. Let's see. Buses would be 10 political capital and telecommuting would be 2 political capital, so you even have more room to do other stuff. So let's do the telecommunicating first, since it's so cheap. And let me know on the meter where you would like to go. The higher it goes, the happier commuters are, and the lower there will be commuters in the long run. Car usage goes down, which improves the environment and helps out that asthma crisis. Parents are happier and trade unionists are happier, but it will cost us money. The lowest is 227 million. The highest is 1 billion, or 1,000 million. So let me know how much you want to spend or the location of the bar, and I will implement this policy. Aqua Lightning says maximum telecommuting, done and done. And now we'll go back into the buses. So there were 2 here for buses. We can do bus subsidies or free bus passes. We cannot do both. The free bus passes will be extremely unpopular. The bus subsidies will be neutral. And Aqua Lightning says someone else can figure out how to do the money problems. Okay. And apparently Ayla is already chomping at the bit to, Ayla's already chomping at the bit to deal with having the money crisis. Oh my god, I'm kind of scared. Alright, Aqua Lightning says bus subsidies, done. Alright, we can go anywhere from the lowest, which is 500 million, to the maximum, which is 7 billion. As it goes up, commuters are happy, motorists are unhappy, probably because they're unhappy that they have to keep paying money. Bus usage goes up, which will indirectly help the environment. Poor earnings goes up, commuter income and membership go up. Capitalists are less happy, which, well, they are already super pissed anyway. And Aqua Lightning wants us to do maximum bus subsidies. All of the subsidies. Done. You have 11 political capital left. If you want to continue with transport, you could do biofuel subsidies or fuel efficiency standards. Or you can do a different policy entirely or pass your turn. Please let us know. Aqua Lightning wishes us to maximize the biofuel subsidies. Done. That is his turn. Lots of good for the environment and for transportation. So here's the quarterly report. GDP is still kind of sad. Health is sad. Crime has gone down, which is good, but unemployment has gone up, unfortunately. And we have a prison riot. One of our largest prisons is the focus of tonight's news, as prisoners have gone on the rampage, setting fires and shouting protests from the rooftops of some prison buildings. The prisoners aren't getting much sympathy in the press, but it's also pretty clear that we need to spend some more money on the prison service if we're going to prevent this from happening again. Liberals and conservatives both take some slight hits. So you guys can decide whether you want to deal with it or not. So Ayla is up. Ayla, please choose what you wish to do. You have 27 political capital. We have a deficit of about 80 billion pounds. And I have a feeling whatever she's about to do is going to make us cry. Ayla screams tasers at the top of her lungs. Okay, we will implement tasers, apparently. I'm going to wait until you confirm that, because if you do tasers, that's going to be your entire... If you do tasers, that will be your entire turn. She screams motherfucking tasers in the chat. So yeah, I'm going to hold off until I know for sure that's what you want to do. And if you do, let me know and I will implement it for you. So just, that's interesting, George. I never thought of, Australia having snow. Like, I've never pictured that before, and I don't know why. Because Australia is pretty far south of the equator, so there's every reason that you would have it. Ayla confirms, yep, I'm going to zap peeps. Done. Okay, so tasers. We can go anywhere from extreme cases to ubiquitous, which essentially means your cops are just going to tase everyone for the fuck of it, or anywhere in between. The cost is $900 million for extreme cases to $1.9 billion for ubiquitous. And the higher the bar goes, the less the liberals like us, the lower the crime, and the lower the violent crime. Please select where you want the bar for tasers. Ayla says, I want the tasers, and at this point, I'm not even sure if she's talking about personally or for the game. Top of the bar, so we're having ubiquitous tasers. Wow, and that is the end of Ayla's turn because we have very little political capital left. Ayla says, zap everyone for the lulz. Ayla, I love you like a sister now. I do not want to live in your country that you are in charge of. She screams, zappity zap zap. Kayla says, that might sort out the prison riots. Yeah, if the prison guards are just running around zapping everybody all day. Credit rating has been downgraded. Capitalists are a little less happy and GDP takes a minor hit. Otherwise, we're fine. Crime has gone down. Good deal. Okay, so motion is up. If you are still in the chat, please select an action for this turn. If you have a specific action, let me know. If you have a non-specific action and just want us to do a certain thing, let me know and we will do it. Motion wants us to enact small business grants to maximum level. Done and done. So that significantly increases self-employed people. It increases the GDP, increases capitalists, hurts the socialists, but that's okay because it's not hurting them that badly. Increases self-employed members and membership and income. Hurts the trade unions, but increases the capitalists' income and costs us $7.21 billion a quarter. Done and done. You still have 18 political capital, so you can select another action. And I will head back to that list. In fact, you could still do the organic farming subsidy or a technology grant or a robotics research grant, which would all increase. Oh, actually, let's see. It'll reduce the amount of. Oh, robotics research would actually lower or increase unemployment because the more we know about robots, the more jobs they displace. How interesting. But it would increase productivity and increase science, but it would hurt jobs. That is really interesting. Okay, motion says cancel the child benefit, or if not, lower it. So we cannot cancel it, but I can lower it all the way down to 1 billion from basically I can save us about 15 billion. Sorry, correction, 14 billion. If you want it lowered all the way. It's currently at 15.66 billion a quarter for the cost. We can lower it all the way to 1.99 or anywhere in between. Just let me know how far you would like it to be lowered. Well, I guess you would want to lower it all the way if you wanted it canceled in the first place. So yeah. Okay, mouse. Okay, mouse. Yeah. So at minimum, and yes, that motion confirms the order. So we are chopping the child benefit, which makes the capitalists a little more happy. It upsets the poor, lowers equality, upsets parents, upsets the liberals, lowers the number of parents, lowers poor earnings, and lowers parents' income. Done. All right. And you have 8 political capital left. You can do a minor action if you wish, and then you'll probably be under 5, so I will pass your turn. Motion is skipping the rest of the turn. All right, so I believe I'm now up, correct? I'm waiting for Kalo to redo the let's see. Straw Hat Monty says, how does the increase decrease bar work? That confused me when I watched your Let's Play. Basically, it depends on the policy. Essentially, when you increase the or do you mean the effects? Like at that all those bars at the top above the policy thing? Let me know what you mean and I'll answer your question. And yes, Kalo has confirmed that it is my turn. So we have an urgent policy question that requires our immediate attention. There have been calls in the media for government to do something about big bonus payments being made to company CEOs despite failing profits. In cases where companies have failed to make a profit, the government has been asked to force companies to withhold bonus payments from top executives. Fucking A. Yes, we're going to restrict bonuses. Fuck the CEOs. Done. All right. So, all right. We have 33 political capital. Now, an hour ago, I can't believe we've been streaming for an hour and a half already. An hour ago, when it was my turn, poor Kalo wanted to do a couple big changes and did not have the political capital. So for Kalo, I am passing my turn completely, so he will get a shit ton more political capital to work with in his turn. All right, so Kalo, this is your turn. We have credit rating downgraded. We are now CCC because of our terrible deficit, and media backlash. One of our country's most popular newspapers has launched a major campaign criticizing your policies so far. This is bound to have a negative effect on your approval rating with all of this newspaper's readers. Ugh, grammar. Political insiders think angry capitalist newspaper owners are behind the move, and everyone is a little bit more pissed off at us. Whatever. All right, Kalo. You have... Why, thank you, Ayla. Kalo, you have 50 political capital to work with. If you still want to enact the death penalty, you can afford it, but that would be your only turn. Straw Hat Monty, basically I asked what you were talking about while Kalo decides his turn. I'm going to show you a demonstration on just something random. Let's take rail subsidies. The upper bars here show what kind of effect that this policy and at this level will have on you. So just for example, with the current rail subsidies policy, we can mouse over commuters, and their opinion raises 25.44%. Now, of course, it's not just that simple, because if we've pissed off the commuters in other ways, it may be a net loss. But for this policy at this level, it's 25.44% commuter-like. So if we increase rail subsidies, you see that the light green bar goes up. And again, you can mouse over to see the change. So if we were to do this, then commuters would actually like us 34.57%. In other words, increasing rail subsidies also increases commuter opinion of us. But it's at the cost of motorists being unhappy. It's at the cost of unemployment. Well, unemployment goes down, which is good because we want more jobs. So that's what those bars mean, and that's how we decide. That's the balance you have to strike to try to figure out what you like and what you don't. So Kalo has chosen to, in fact, enact the death penalty at maximum implementation. So apparently, our policy is to do the death penalty for most crime. You jaywalk, you lose your head. Patriots love it. So again, as we see here, patriots, their opinion goes up 11.55%. Liberals hate us, goes down 14.43%. But violent crime goes down 14.43%. Just having the death penalty will discourage people from committing crimes. Liberalism goes down, and conservatives are super happy about this. Done. And that is the end of Kalo's turn. Michael, you are up. The GDP has gone up. And look at this. The asthma epidemic is now at an end. We have done enough work on the air, on transportation, on the air quality, that the asthma epidemic no longer exists. Excellent work, everybody. I did not ever pull off that shit when I played by myself either. Michael, you have an urgent policy question. There have been calls for a law to increase the availability of information held on databases about citizens without their knowledge. These include the records held by private medical companies, insurance companies, and debt collection agencies, as well as information held by government departments. So, Michael, do you reject the proposal? In other words, by rejecting the proposal, you still allow businesses to keep secrets, but only certain companies. It's not like everyone is going to. Or you can enact the Freedom of Information Act, which will allow most people to get information on what information is being taken from them. So let me know in the comments what you would like to do, Michael. All right, Michael rejects the proposal. So the government and certain other things are allowed to keep secrets. And we have a quote from Homer Simpson. When will people learn? Democracy doesn't work. Okay. It's kind of weird to put that out of context. Michael says, do import tariffs at maximum. Done and done. So the capitalists are neutral. They don't care. But unemployment goes down significantly. Patriots go up significantly. Foreign relations goes down. International trade gets really cut. But our uncompetitive economy gets cut too, and that's one of our crises. So, done. And that should help us out. All right, Michael, you still have 12 political capital. Please let me know. Michael passes his turn, so that is 6 political capital that will be carried over. Mom, you are up, and unemployment has gone down so significantly it's no longer red. That is excellent. That's very good. I'm very happy to see that. All right, Mom, you have an urgent policy question that you must answer. There are calls for a law to expressly set quotas for the employment of ethnic and other minorities by large corporations and government institutions. This would put pressure on companies to give higher priority to some job candidates than others on the basis of their race, sex, or age. So this is essentially affirmative action, but even more severe. So, Mom, do you pass the law or reject the law for positive discrimination? Please let me know in the comments. Mom says, let's be radical and pass the law. Done. All right, so we have super affirmative action in the UK now. All right, Mom, you have 36 political capital to work with. You can see the numbers there. We have a lot of green. Our overall popularity is even green. Liberals are fairly unhappy. They were happy for a while, but we've upset them lately. Capitalists still hate us, and middle income are whatever. So, just let me know. Mom confirms she wants the intelligence service maximized. Done. All right, you still have 29 political capital left. That's enough for a fairly major action, or several minor ones. Please select your next turn, or next choice. And Mom says she wouldn't normally go that way, but she's curious how it will affect the game. Yes, that's one thing I like about simulations like this, that we can do things that we wouldn't normally do. Like, one thing I want to do in this game, just to do it, even though it goes 180 from my personal opinion, is I want to try to make the United States a completely religious institution. Ban Sunday shopping, cut all taxes for the religious organizations, teach nothing but creationism in school, and just see what happens to the nation, or how fast it just explodes into lunacy. Or even see if I can handle the problems that would come with it. It's kind of fun. Mom says, let's play with drugs. What can we legalize and tax? Well, we already have the tax enacted. There is a tax. The tax is low, but that doesn't mean anything right now since we don't have legal drugs. However, if you wish to legalize drugs, that would be this one. And you can legalize them. You don't have much political capital after that. This would be your last action. But if you want to, we can legalize cannabis, which is basically weed. We can legalize LSD, or we can legalize all drugs. Heroin, meth, you name it. Now, we don't know how much money that's going to make us yet, because we don't know how much it's going to be consumed. But we can increase to legalize everything. The more we legalize, the happier liberals are, the angrier parents are. Crime goes up, which sounds counterintuitive, but the idea is if the way the game is presenting it, if we are legalizing drugs, then crime will go up because people will be under the influence of those drugs and commit crimes, and or they will increase what they do so they can get money to buy their drugs. Conservatives will be extremely unhappy. Legal drug consumption goes up, which will increase our incomes, and organized crime will go down due to the fact that we are legalizing this, so organized crime can't do anything. Michael says, he and I play nation states. We do. I do want to put that on the channel as well. Mom screams, go for the gold, all of them. So we are legalizing all drugs. Oh, the poor UK. Okay. We'll see. Conservatives are on an uptick and liberals are on a downtick. So I have a feeling that after this turn, that's going to be a lot different. Okay. Next turn. So that was Mom's turn. Who's up now? I think it's Jordan, correct? I've sort of lost the plot. I appreciate you, Kalo, for keeping the rotation going. All right, so unemployment has gone down, which is good. Poverty is now in the green. Health is in the green. GDP is slightly higher than when we started, but it's working. 77% of the people love us, and we have a miracle operation. Doctors have successfully reattached a hand to a man who was involved in a serious car accident. The success of the operation has been attributed to our country's superb healthcare and technical knowledge. This is great news for the image of our health system, and everyone likes us just a little bit more. Excellent. All right, so Jordan is up. Thank you, Kalo. Jordan is up. Please select... Conservatives are on a downtick? That's kind of confusing. And ethnic minorities are a lot happier. Why is that? What did we do to make ethnic minorities happier? I don't know. Because we didn't do anything with the Race Discrimination Act. We didn't do anything with foreign aid. And we didn't do anything with border controls. That's weird. Okay, whatever. Anyway, Jordan says abortion. All right. The current abortion law is limited circumstances and is extremely popular. You have the capital, the political capital, to either allow more abortions or, I guess, restrict more abortions. If you go more pro-choice, it will be your only turn that you can take, or your only action you can take during this turn. However, if you restrict abortions more, you should be able to take another turn. Oh, they're on demand for prostitutes. All right, we have on-demand abortions, and that is the end of Jordan's turn. All right, so who's up next? Aqua Lightning, I believe, is next. Okay, so the GDP has gone up significantly. Unemployment has gone down significantly. Technology backwater is at an end, which is great. 67% of the people are still in favor of us. And so Aqua is up, and we have a question here. And Mama says maybe the game got high on all the legalized drugs. That is quite possible. Okay, Aqua. A major motorists' pressure group has lobbied government to get the speed limits on major roads raised. These speed limits were set many years ago, and both car speeds and braking performance has improved since then. So, Aqua, do you raise the speed limits or do not change the speed limits? If you raise the speed limits, let's see. I would assume productivity would get... That's the cool thing with these chance cards. Basically, you don't know what the effects are, unlike when you do normal policy changes. So if you do no change, it says speed is often a factor in survivability of car accidents. Probably people will be healthier, but if you raise speed limits, I'd say productivity might go up, and motorists will probably increase as a result and be happier. So, Kayla says, it looks like the prostitution was too much for the game since it's fucked. Very nice. And Aqua Lightning decides to raise the speed limits. Done and done. Yes, Aqua Lightning has confirmed we are now doing 2 doctors' approval to abortions. Okay, you are left with 5 political capital. That's enough for a minor action if you wish. And it's honestly pretty good strategy for the sake of getting reelected to do that, because it will help deflect some of that religious hatred. But, okay, so Aqua, with 5 political capital left, please select your next action or to pass your turn. Or anything else you want to see, information or policies or whatever. And Jordan says, I guess it will help us live through to the next term. That is true. And Jordan, there is nothing stopping you from bumping up abortions again next week if you wish to do that for your first turn. Aqua says, I don't have enough to do anything, so I will end my turn. And Jordan says it's also 18 in Australia. I did not know that. Okay, Aqua Lightning passes his turn, and we have just gotten an achievement. Egalitarian Miracle. And half of that's cut off, so I can't see what that says. Hopefully this doesn't break immersion. We may not all look alike or sound alike, but under your leadership, we all now feel equal with our fellow man, woman, other. And isn't that the most important thing? Yay! All right. Oh, I could have just clicked and then it would have appeared. Nice fireworks. Beautiful. All right. GDP is up enough that it's now yellow. Health is still up. Crime is down and is green. Poverty is green. Unemployment is down. Uncompetitive economy is now at an end. Organized crime is now at an end. 2 crises have been solved by you guys. Excellent. Maybe we should be running all of our countries. What do you think? We'll just go into business for ourselves. Kalo can run the UK. I'll run the States with Aqua Lightning and Mom, and we'll let Michael handle Canada, and Jordan can deal with Australia. We'll be good to go. All right, so let's see. Ayla is up, and Ayla, you have a critical policy. Representatives from oil companies based in your country have requested that the government deploy troops overseas at all of our oil refineries in the Middle East to protect them from attacks by terrorists. The governments involved are happy for our troops to be stationed on the soil for this purpose. So, Ayla, do you send in the troops and protect the oil companies? Or do you not deploy the troops because we don't want to invade anybody for any reason unless there's some sort of issue? So if we send in the troops, we'll probably have better oil prices and I guess it would lower terrorism, but if we don't deploy them... Oh, I see. If we don't deploy them, countries will actually think we're a little more trustworthy because they don't want to see the entire British army just hanging out in their countries for any reason. All right, so Ayla, it is your choice. You can either safeguard the oil supplies by sending in troops or not. Ayla says, send them in to trample stuff with all of their tasers. So we are sending in the troops. Done and done. Okay. Election report. The election is drawing near. We currently have 12.4 million members in the Blazing Hawks. Our party membership is the largest by a noticeable margin. We have 77 support of the vote. Amazing. Oh, but we have an intelligence briefing. Intelligence services report growing concern about a relatively small extremist religious organization known as the Crusaders of the Lord. We should keep a close eye on their activities. So, Ayla, while you... Ayla says, no, we are evil. There is no good of sending in the troops. We are an evil UK. So, Jordan screams, let's run the world, followed by, we're going to die. All right, so while Ayla decides her decisions for this turn, one of the buttons I did not go into detail about is this gun icon up here, and this is the security briefing. This tells us all the criminal terrorist and other organizations here in the UK. These first groups are safe. Why is it playing music? That's weird. These first groups are basically safe. They are just lobbying groups, essentially. Although they could get pissy enough to attack us if we piss them off hard enough. But these ones down here with the guns, these are actual terrorist organizations. And it says the Crusaders of the Lord only have 31 people involved. So I think we'll be all right. 31 out of 16 million. I think we're going to be fine. Ayla says border controls. Okay, where is border controls? Up here. All right, border controls. Right now it's biometric checks. If you increase border controls, you will make the patriots happy, but you will piss off the liberals, you will decrease immigration, piss off ethnic minorities, and decrease tourism. And of course it goes the opposite way if you lower border controls. You can afford it either way. It'll cost 18 political capital to raise border controls and make them more strict, or 13 political capital if you want to open your borders up a bit more. And as Aqua Lightning says, Crusaders of the Lord sounds anti-abortion. I was hoping pulling that law back a bit would prevent that, and Motion agrees and says, most likely saved my life. It's not just my life, guys. We're playing this by committee. I didn't want to see any of you get shot in the face like what happened in my Let's Play with the Akamura. God, we had so many groups pissed off at us when we played that game together. It was wonderful. Anyway, Ayla, what would you like to do with the border controls? Lower it, she says. Okay, how far would you like to lower it? Lowering the border controls will upset the patriots, but make liberals and ethnic minorities happier, increase tourism, and increase immigration. And Ayla says right to the bottom. Done and done. Come on, mouse. There we go. So it's only random passport checks. Also, that's significantly decreasing the cost, because right now we're paying $661 million, and it will become $45 million. Very good. Done. You still have 15 political capital left, and you have helped close the deficit. Select your next action. 15 is enough for a fairly moderate action, in fact. All right. Ayla does suggest to change community policing to maximum. Done. All right, so you still have 15 political capital to work with. Please select your next command. Okay, Ayla says drop the Food Standards Agency to the bottom. Okay. So there is... there we go. So there are no food standards. Farmers are happier a little bit. Liberals are a little less happy. And the health of the nation goes down very slightly. Done. So now you have 13 more political capital. And Kalo and Michael are both protesting heavily in the comments as Ayla does an evil laughter due to sabotaging the nation. So, Ayla, go ahead and think what else you want to do. I really do have to get up and get a drink. My throat is killing me. I will be right back. And Ayla says that she wants to raise military spending to the top. We are now, as the UK, an overwhelming force. Done. Okay, and that's it, because you only have 4 political capital left. Ayla says make colanders out of people. Yes, bigger holes so you can get those taser barbs right into them even better. Okay, so we are on our final turn for tonight. Motion is up, and we have... okay, we have a new crisis. There is now a drug addiction in the country. Oh my, you can see exactly where we started legalizing drugs. Thanks, Mom, even though you're no longer listening. Oh my God. You can see exactly where we started legalizing drugs. So now we have a massive drug addiction in the UK, and we have 2 other notes that we have to worry about. By the way, we see here that GDP has gone down, but unemployment has significantly gone down. Health has gone down a smidge. Crime is up. That's kind of strange. I'm surprised. Well, no, I guess not, since Ayla did kind of sabotage us, along with Mom. Ayla says nuclear taser warheads. Woot. All right, we have been religiously condemned. The head of the church has called upon you to resign and told his followers not to vote for you or support your party. You have been described as an amoral and spiritually corrupt leader who should not be given the support of the church. And our credit rating is upgraded, which we're bouncing back from our deficit. Hooray! All right, so motion request to look at our cabinet ministers, sack the most disloyal ones, and hire new ones that have high loyalty. All right, so where is the... Oh, loyalty. Okay, duh. All right, so... Yeah, okay. Marsha Hall is pretty unhappy. God, Tammy Rogers loves us. So, okay, so Marsha Hall is the lowest, but so Marsha Hall is the lowest. Pearl Stewart is yellow, but she's pretty up there. I wouldn't fire her necessarily. Tammy loves us. Zachary loves us. Mary Bailey loves us. Carmen Ward is kind of disliking us, and Carrie White is in the center. So, let's see. Aqua Lightning says, yeah, oh yeah, I forgot we legalized all the drugs. We should pull it back. And Ayla says, phooey on the religious wieners, and Jordan is booing the religious. So, okay, motion says, yes, fire the disloyal ones and hire loyal. Use up all capital points on that. Okay. So we'll fire Carmen Ward. And we need a new law and order minister. Especially if we want... Oh, wait a minute. Norman Cox. He has high loyalty. He's sympathetic to the ethnic minorities who we're working on, and the capitalists who we're working on. And he has good experience. We'll get Norman Cox. All right, and then... Wow, the loyalty is now falling among some of the others since they're paranoid for their jobs, especially Carrie White. But she's fired since she was red. And now we'll look for a new transport minister. Farmers and liberal. Oh yeah, Kurt Young. We'll get Kurt Young because he likes farmers and liberals who we are leaning toward. All right, done. So there we go. Now we are going to suffer some problems in the short term because we've now shuffled the cabinet. But in the long term, we're going to be getting more capital per turn, I believe. So we still have 23 capital left. So Motion, there is still plenty of capital that you've got where you can make some policy changes or do some things. Capitalists can go phooey, says Ayla. And Michael, I'm not going to repeat that. All right, so Motion, you still have 23 political capital. Please select what you would like us to do with it. And Motion has chosen to ban prostitution. Okay. Lower prostitution to its lowest if you can't cancel it. Done. All right, so you still have 15 political capital left. I did not realize that. Let's see if you cannot change the abortion law, and you cannot go more creationism. Okay. So you pretty much can't do anything else with the religious. So you still have 15 political capital, though, so you can still select something else. Motion wants us to max the alcohol law, so strong restrictions. Okay, done. All right, we have made it to our first election, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so our activist turnout boost is 36%. Opposition activist turnout boost is only 1%. Let's start the votes. That is a lot of non-voters, but even more importantly, look at how high that green bar is. Look at that. Oh, it's done. It's beautiful. We had a 72% turnout for our side and a 57% turnout for their side. Beautiful. And we get fireworks, too. Oh, cool. We get to see a break. See, I haven't even made it to one election yet, so this is all new to me. So everyone who even turned out from the poor voted for us. So really, the only one we have here... Okay, for self-employed, we split the vote. The capitalists voted against us. But everybody else voted in favor of us. That's awesome. Yes, not only did we win, we won hard. It's amazing. And changes... Oh, cool. This is cool. We can see how well we've done as leaders. So since we were elected, health has gone down. That's kind of surprising since we fixed the air. Oh, it's the drugs, of course. All the legalized drugs. That's what made health go down. But education's gone up, crime's gone down, equality's gone up, poverty's gone down, violent crime's gone down, environment's gone up. The working week has gone down, but I guess it hasn't really changed anything, which makes sense. Technology has gone way up, bus usage up. Look at all this. Unemployment. We cut unemployment nearly in half. Oh, that's beautiful. Racial tension is down. Immigration has gone up. The foreign relations hate us, but fuck them. Middle earnings and poor earnings are up. The wealthy has gone down, so we have more equality among the income. GDP's gone up. Private schools is neutral. Looks like our only neutral. Currency strength is way up. Traffic congestion is down. Hey, we are pretty damn good leaders. And see, I got the achievement for an electoral success because I've never been successful in an election before. And we have gained a green, the opposite of a crisis. Technological advantage. A new situation has developed, and homelessness has been ended. This is amazing, and I am saving this. Holy crap, guys. Okay. Streaming Sunday 26. Since that will be what we do in the next turn. Now, the other thing I want to show you real quick before I close this out is on the main menu, there's something called the compass. And when you click that, it shows where you are, politically speaking, if you win an election. So you can see here we are slightly left of center for as socialists and slightly left of center as liberals. Just slightly, though. But we're mainly in the middle as independents, which makes sense. So we have done great, and we will continue our country next week. I will delay the games I was going to do for other countries. I told you I'm getting tired. I will delay some of the games I was going to do later on for later weeks as well. But my voice is shot. I'm tired. There's no way I'm going to be recording Sims episodes tonight, but I'll record some tomorrow. So thanks for everything, guys. Super appreciate it. All is well in Pyro's world. We can rest easy, as Motion says. That is correct. Kalo and I will keep the rotation if you guys can join us next week. Same time, 4 p.m. Eastern, Sunday. We will do streaming Sundays once again and continue our nation. And I think if we even win next week, I will stop it there, but I'll definitely save the file so we can go back to it at a later date as well. And Ayla is going to try to do better sabotage. Lovely. All right. Michael pointed out that the religious voted for us 64% in favor. Yeah, that was some last-second saving by Aqua Lightning and everyone after him as well, which was great. Oh yeah, after party, of course. I won't kill the stream. We'll do an after party. All right, but for the YouTube cut, everybody who is watching this on YouTube, you should have joined us live on Twitch every Sunday. Usually it's at 8 p.m., but for the next few weeks, it's at 4 p.m. Eastern. Check your time zones because I know you guys are located all over the world. We have fun. We have pre-shows. We have after parties. We have stuff that you missed because of all the smash cuts. Join us every week. And I'm at twitch.tv/PyroFalkon, although we will be moving to Hitbox soon. I haven't decided what day we're going to do it, but we will be moving to Hitbox before the end of 2014. So if you're watching this on Twitch, hang around if you want to stick around for the after party. But if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching. I will see you next week. I can't close episodes when I'm this hungry and tired. Bye.